One of the things that I'm always asked is what's the most amazing thing you've read about sports fans, you've found about sports fans? And the reality is, the most amazing thing is that there are sports fans. This is an activity where half the people after the activity are going to be upset about the activity.
It's the greatest game in the world, as far as I'm concerned. There's baseball season and everything else. I mean, November to February for me is downtime, and then spring training comes, and there's nothing better than baseball.
Oh, it's a game of inches, you know, and an inch this way or an inch that way could change the game. On a hit, doesn't hit the line, hits the line, a strike inside, hit the corner, stuff like that. Guy goes try to catch the ball and he just missed it by an inch or two.
It takes a little bit more thought to enjoy baseball, but once you get into that, there is something happening every single second of every single game. In between pitches, when you think there's no activity, is when some of the most intense activity is going on the field.
Well, I was there right from the beginning, from the first day in 1962. I became a Met fan, and I've traced the history ever since.
The first year it was baseball, but it wasn't baseball as you'd like it to be.
They're just funny to watch, you know. They really tried hard, which I love.
Oh, they're always the underdog. They're always the team that, you know, they try to make moves and do things, and sometimes it works, a lot of times it doesn't.
We're going to make a T-shirt out of this someday. The Mets, we always look good on paper.
I feel like it's a constant state of recovery, like going from having high hopes and having them dashed to having no hopes and then being pulled into hoping again.
It brought my family together in one room, more often than we would have been had it not been for the Mets.
I'm screaming and yelling. My mother's telling me, what's going on? What's going on? What's wrong with you? I go, don't you know the Mets have just won the World Series? It's a miracle. She goes, oh, come on. You're crazy. You're crazy. I go, no, it's a miracle.
It just affects my mood for the rest of the night. Like, I will not be happy no matter what happens if the Mets lose. And I think it's kind of nice to feel that way in certain ways because it makes you keep strong, and it's something you certainly have to deal with being a Mets fan.
My son has even asked me this sometimes, you know, during a difficult season. He'll say, Dad, couldn't you have allowed us to be or why couldn't we have been Yankee fans?
The Yankees will take this series, we'll take the World Series, we will make number 27, and the Mets will be on the bottom of the barrel just like they always been and always will be.
I can't get down the Yankees. The Yankees are in the American League. They're in the same city as me, or as I'm in. But you know what? They're not the same. They're not my division. The Yankees aren't my rivals. The Braves are my rivals. And you know what? I'm much happier to see the Mets beat the fucking Braves than I am to see them beat the Yankees. I don't give a shit about the Yankees.
There's this complex that no matter what we do, will never be as good. It's just not going to happen. I mean, at least not in my lifetime. I don't think there's enough years left.
The measure of the true fan is that you are going to stay with this team through thick and thin, no matter how many bad moves they make, no matter how many bad seasons, losing seasons they may have. This is your team.
My name is Matt Hoey. I'm from Newburgh, New York. #1 online, 7 years in a row. And I got here Thursday at 5 a.m.
I'm #2. I'm Marlene Fazzo. I come from Jersey, and I got here about 7 hours after Matt did. Next year, I think I'm going to try and beat him. I'm going to have to come on Wednesday, maybe.
Ain't gonna happen. Ain't
We
gonna
love our
happen.
team, we love this town, and we have a good time doing this. And some people say we're crazy, but you know what? We spent the last few days talking to friends that we've seen here over the years, having a great old time. And you know what? You don't get this in Yankee land.
The Bronx is 14.3 miles that way. Remember that. I've been a Met fan since 1982, and I love my team. I started liking the team when all my friends were Yankee fans, which they still are. And I just like the colors of the Mets and been a fan ever since.
Yeah, let's go Mets! Number one! We're respectable this year. If the chemistry's there, we got a shot. You know, it's all about chemistry.
Chemistry to health. Chemistry and health.
Yeah.
That's what we need is health on this team. If the team stays healthy, we'll be all right. That's true too. If not, we might not be so all right, but we're still here. We're still here braving out the cold.
I'm here every year. I'm looking forward to a great season. And I think the Mets will do a lot of big things this year. I think it's going to be the year.
Marvin the Martian with Mets colors, burning the Yankee symbol down in flames. Down in flames. We swept them last year, we're going to do it again. How sweep it is. For a 3-4 day being online, I probably sleep maybe 2-3 hours for the weekend. It's now, I don't even know, like probably 12 o'clock in the morning. On Sunday, I don't even know how many hours to go, but I don't care. It's well worth it.
Well beyond any time.
Last row. I come to my stadium every February. I support my team. I love my team. Here I am. I'm going to be here next year. No matter what the outcome of this year is, I'll be here next year. Guaranteed.
I'm Dr. Daniel Wan. I'm a professor of psychology at Murray State University in Murray, Kentucky. I had always been a sports fan. I'd played sports and had followed several teams pretty closely. And one thing I noticed when I was at the games was that the fans seemed to be into it as much, if not more, than the players. And so I just, kind of wondered what was going on there, what was the reasons behind this intense loyalty that these individuals can follow for their teams. So it sort of just kind of fell into place from there. We are very social creatures. And it's important to us to identify with something larger than the self. And we have lots of choices. I mean, some people get wrapped up in work. Some people would get wrapped up in their extended family. But what we see in our society is some of the institutions that have traditionally sort of allowed for these connections to others, they're on the decline. You can think of religion, for example. We might be as religious as we used to be, but people don't go to church as often as they used to. We might still be as connected to our family, but we don't live, within walking distance of our cousins and our aunts and uncles like it was at one point in time. So something has to take the place of that. And one of the most obvious options is sport. By linking up with a sport team, it allows us to sort of replace these more traditional connections with others and sort of substitute in the other fans of the team. I might not be within walking distance of my cousins, but I'm certainly within walking distance of other fans of this sport team. They're my new extended family.
In coming to Shea, that often we've developed, and I don't want to say relationships, but where the players actually know who we are because we've been here so much. And basically that's when they were really not good, and I don't want to say bad, we were here. We were interviewed last year by the New York Times and by the Daily News because they kept seeing the same 6, 7, 10 of us at the games last year. And one guy actually asked us, why are you here? Why are you here again? And because we were here when they weren't that good, now that they are good, they know who we are. I mean, Mike Piazza knows our name. Bobby Valentine knows who I am. Todd Pratt knows. I mean, and I've never had to be anything except be there for them at the game. And we've never done anything else except, a wave hello or a thumbs up or good game or a sign that we would bring into the stadium, whatever the sign may be, always positive influences and they just know who we are because we're there to support. He will get out of the car and wave to two of his biggest fans, Crazy 1 and Crazy 2. Except that Steve Tratzel's going to block your view. I told you Steve's going to block our view. Come on.
Mikey, I forgot my other 8, so you gotta hit 2 today! All right.
He's got to be one of the nicest players in baseball. No matter what they write about him, no one that's ever written those things has ever had the opportunity to spend 2 minutes speaking to him. He's so cool. God bless him. No matter how many times you speak to him, it's still like you start to realize, oh my God, that was Mike Piazza, and it's really, really cool. Now tell me that's not worth it if you can come here early enough to get a wave and talk to the Hall of Fame catcher.
In the late 80s, I was with my son, and we went to a baseball card show, and he bought a box of cards. So I said, oh, this is interesting. I saw the old yearbooks and all the other things that I used to have as a kid, of which I had none, absolutely none. I was in a museum where they had a person had 2 rooms of his work that he collected, but he started when he was 60. And I said, wow, it's really never too late to start collecting.
I've been collecting stuff, I would say the last 15, 20 years. And I'm the type of person that anything I see Mets, I gotta have it. If it's out there and I don't have it, I try to get it.
Welcome to what I call Shea Stadium South, my Mets collection, which is about 16,000 items, all Mets stuff, of course. I started when I was a child. I just saved everything, and I just kept going. I still have my first scrapbook that I had from 1964 or 65.
This is Tom Seaver's 1972 game-used jersey. His road jersey is one of my favorite items. I mean, just, as with all the other jerseys, but this one in particular, because he was my hero.
I got Howard Johnson's pants.
These are actual World Series rings.
Full ticket of the first game ever played at the Polo Grounds. It's a complete ticket.
This is a original 1969 Met yearbook, and I would say I have about 15 signatures on there.
This is an actual seat taken from when the Mets clinched in '86, part of a chair. Some strongman must have ripped this apart.
This is an item my wife got me a couple years ago for Christmas. It's a 50-cent Met coloring book.
This is a team ball every year from the Mets from 1962, Casey Stengel, the very first year, up through the present.
That's a Mets kite back from the early '60s. I only know of one other person who has the kite and in his collection. So there's at least 2 of them. I don't know if there's any others, but but that's kind of rare.
I took that picture spring training with Bernard Gilkey and his son. A lot of times a player will take his son or his daughter and bring them onto the field and sit with them. And when I saw them 2 together, I took the picture. And of course, the next day I gave him a copy of it. And he loved it so much, he went back in the locker room, came out, and he gave me a bat. And it has his name on it, and he signed it for me.
Shirts galore. I must have at least 50 or 60 shirts, and you must have Mets underwear. I mean, what's life without a Mets underwear?
There's nothing better for any collector to cross off on his want list. Every true collector has a want list, and when he gets something and you cross it off, that's an accomplishment. That's fun.
No, it's not the value at all. I don't plan to sell it. Actually, my 2 nephews can't wait till I die, so they inherit it.
So when I came down here in '89, I only had a few items, and being such a big fan down here and finding so much Mets stuff, I kind of built my collection into a room, and I called the Mets room. And someday I said to myself, well, maybe I should paint the house blue and orange.
We talked about it, and we decided that we're going to paint the house blue and orange. I said, why not? It's just a house, whatever. And I'm very into art, so this is great, something different.
I tell everybody that comes down, it's the only blue and orange house in Port St. Lucie, so you shouldn't be able to have trouble finding it. A lot of people say I bleed blue and orange, and sometimes I got to believe it. You really got to love the team to do something like this.
Place to call home. And at the end of the day, place to
This is an addiction. It's an addiction just like anything else, but we like to think it's a more healthy addiction. If you're a collector, whether it's cookie jars, paintings, or Mets memorabilia, you're addicted.
Being a sport fan certainly at some level involves the outcome, right? I mean, they're not going to go and be happy if they know that it's going to end in a tie. And they like the drama that comes with the uncertain outcome. But there's a lot more to it than that. They can be excited because of the ballpark, the arena. Look at the number of people that show up whenever new stadiums are built. They start packing those stadiums. The players are the same, the stadiums change, and all of a sudden people show up. Again, there's the camaraderie with other fans. So you can go to the game and enjoy yourself above and beyond the outcome.
This is like our second home. I personally went to 30 games last season, and besides my house, I was probably actually here more than I was in my house last year. So it's really for everyone. I want to say everyone here. Shout out to Camp Word. That too. Welcome home to everyone because we're back. Let's go Mets! Let's go Mets! Let's go Mets! Let's go Mets!
I took off from work. I live in Bayonne, New Jersey, and in fact, my boss, he's probably down underneath the bridge right now because he's tailgating also, and we all have a good time, but as soon as I tell him, I'm going to take off for opening day, he's like, do what you got to do, have fun.
Basically, we have this greatness of filet mignon for the early bird risers, which come out. It's basically steak and eggs minus the eggs, only the good stuff. Burgers and the dogs for everybody else. Get our drinks going, and everybody just gets together for a good time. Some people only see each other once a year, and this is it.
Mets! Go! We've been counting down the days for 62 days we bought our tickets ago. We've been waiting for this day. It's finally here. We got all this food. We got this ginormous grill. Yeah! Let's go Bros! Everyone we love in the world is here, especially the 25 guys in there that we love more than anyone.
Baseball is the only part of my life. Nothing else but baseball. We got married, we had baseball bats in the ceremony. When people go over with the gun sometimes for the military, we had everybody's bat personalized, name engraved, favorite team, and that's what we walked under.
Baseball's back. Baseball is back. Baseball's back. That's the basic thing. Is baseball's back and Mets are our team. That's it. Let's go Mets! Woo! 69, 86, 2006!
This area is affectionately known as the Grassy Knoll. We've been coming here for about 8 years. This is our 8th annual Bean Gang Grand Slam single tailgate party. And we got together on the website about 8 or 9 years ago. We've been coming here ever since. Usually we get anywhere from 50 to 100 people here on the Grassy Knoll. My official title is the all-knowing, all-powerful Master of the Universe, the Great Bever, which was sarcastically bestowed on me by my wife. So I adopted that as my screen name on Grand Slam single. The first year was really awesome because there were people that had never met each other but had been talking to each other for the better part of a year that all of a sudden came and identified themselves based on their screen names.
We all met online, and of course when you start hanging out online you worry that you're just going to meet a bunch of axe murderers, and I haven't met any yet. But we're all nuts in our own special way.
Besides, the opening of the season and the Mets, it just represents spring and summer and rebirth, kind of it's like our Christmas Day and New Year's all rolled up in one. It's always a big deal.
Every time I get a new boss, that's the one day I have to have off every year is opening day. My boss is a huge Boston Red Sox fan, and he completely understands my fanaticism. And he sent me an email this morning on my BlackBerry saying enjoy the day, so I have no problem taking the day off.
We've been doing it since Sean was in 2nd grade. We've been coming together on opening day, so it's kind of a holy day of obligation for us.
It's been a huge part of my life. My family, my sister is actually in left field. My sister passed away 2 years ago, and she was cremated, and she was a bigger Met fan than I was. So she's 11 years older than I am. And actually, she got me to be a Mets fan. And so after she was cremated, one of the Bean Gangers, April, said, we should really, put your sister out in Shea Stadium. We picked a game in the summertime, and we got field level seats. And we like moved all the way to the end, like before the game started. Made sure, you know, everybody's looking around. So we're like, okay, do it now, do it now. It was kind of like raining out. It was kind of like a crappy day like this. So I'm like trying to dump the ashes through the fence really quickly, and half were on my shoe, half were on the ground, half were on my purse, and I'm like, ew, she's on my hand, you know. So we kind of pushed onto this little grassy triangle part that's out in left field. And then one of the other girls that we tailgate with, Kathleen, who's also not here yet, gave me a rose because she knew what I was doing. So they're like, throw the rose. So I like throw the rose over and everything. So she's permanently in left field until they tear the stadium down.
My first official day of spring.
Oh,
spring is now here.
It's
just beginning of baseball. Baseball is like life.
What happens?
The people that have met have become like almost like a second family. And, you know, there's all kinds of things that go on outside of baseball that we've also been involved with, helping each other, you know, births, deaths. We even had one couple that married a couple of years ago, and they had a little ceremony right here.
I've been a Mets fan like practically my whole life. No matter how good or bad or however they do, always a Mets fan.
Return no one evil for evil, strengthen the faint-hearted, support the weak, help the suffering, honor all people, love and serve the Lord, rejoicing in the power of the Holy Spirit. And may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you now and forevermore. Amen.
I'm a minister at the First Presbyterian Church in Germantown, and I love the New York Mets. And it was my girlfriend's father that just got me into it. Every time I'd go over to my girlfriend's house, he was watching the Mets, and he told me all about them and told me about the players, and he would take us to games. And I have been a Mets fan ever since, through the darkest days, right up into the highlights, and still am, and we're going to have a great year.
We really like Nancy, but you know, it's a terrible shame that she's such a fanatic about the Mets, because this is a Phillies town, and with her enthusiasm and joie de vivre, you'd think she'd have the sense to be a Phillies fan, not a Mets fan.
I stayed loyal to the New York Mets because I am a true blue fan. You cannot move to a different place and then take on that team as your new team. You wouldn't be a real fan. So I moved to Philadelphia 22 years ago, right here in Philly country, and my love for the New York Mets came with me.
Being a Phillies fan, born and raised in Philadelphia, it's a huge stretch for us, but the main point of the Christian faith is accepting those that we consider to be outcast and that the rest of the world would consider to be outcast. And that's the same way that we feel about Mets fans. So she's welcome here, even though she's a Mets fan.
We're not always going to be perfect. You can't bat 1,000. But that's okay. And we're still of great value to our team, even though we only get 3 hits out of 10. We're batting 300. Any baseball player will take that batting average. It's a lesson we can learn. We're not always going to be perfect, nor is the other person always going to be perfect. Baseball can teach us how we can treat one another and how we can think about our own lives.
I started going to the games a lot in like the 1990s. And after 1990-ish, I started going to a lot more games, and obviously Piazza wasn't there, so it was just me being a Mets fan. But it's been fun, and it's been rewarded, even when we didn't play that well. You just got the reward of that hello, that wave from the most obscure player. I mean, when I was a kid, the first guy that waved to me was Duffy Dyer. Most people don't even remember who he was. And then as I've gotten older and the team has progressed and I've progressed, to have Mike Piazza say hi and now, now he knows you my name. I mean, that's like totally amazing. And he's asked us if we needed tickets. And of course, we never have been asked before by a player. So of course we said, oh, of course we need tickets. It's Marlene's birthday. And he's going to leave us tickets at the player's window, our name at the player's window. We're going to go to pick up the tickets and get in for free, get really good seats, and watch him play. I don't know if he was looking during the game or not. I couldn't tell, but every once in a while he would look up to see we were still sitting there, but that's always like, oh, yeah, I hope that's what he did. She thinks that Mike might ask us to come inside and talk to him, and he's done it before.
He hit 2 home runs, Marlene.
But not, we've been in the Mets inside. We should have been there for that one, too, because we were real good talking to Mike, and then we come back out after we're done talking to both of us, like, these when I said, I've talked to him a million times, but it was inside the parking lot. It's like, no man's land.
Which is 1 of 200.
It was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, Pedro!
They won't let me hold the banner up with my hands above there.
1 more year! 1 more year! 1 more year! Nice game, Mike.
Oh my God, Mike, you.
Great game, Mike.
Mike, you guys are on.
Mike, he
He said, how'd you like your birthday present? I'd have liked it better if they hadn't walked him twice, but it was a good birthday.
no idea, right? No idea.
We were at Todd Field's last game last year. Do you know the handshake we just got? The handshake from Mike Piazza, just to show appreciation. He knows we were there for him. He's there for us. And I don't know, a handshake. I don't need a signed autograph.
Yeah.
And the big smile on his face to know that there's somebody still watching him after all these years. Yeah. Isn't that neat?
Yeah,
That's
and
so
he was,
cool.
when we were chanting
396, he got blushed.
He
like,
put
put his
down,
foot
he
down.
said that, oh gosh, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, because he doesn't like the a lot of attention.
He's not a spotlight
He's
guy.
a quiet leader.
2:15 in the morning, and I'm here to unload my truck because I'm going to Chicago. I got invited to the National Italian American Sports Hall of Fame induction of my friend and buddy, Mike Piazza. So in order for me to leave tomorrow morning, I have to be here tonight, and I have to unload probably about 800 pieces of stuff, and it takes about 4 hours. So it's going to be a very, very long day, but definitely well worth it. It's all worth it, though. A chance to go to Chicago and see something that happens once in somebody's lifetime, I would consider that priceless. I'm really nervous. I hope I look good. And I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Mike is the best. Congratulations. You deserve every single accolade you can accomplish in your life, bro. Good for you.
We are at the Italian American Sports Hall of Fame for an induction of one of the best Italian athletes we've ever met or seen in our time, Mike Piazza. And we finally got a picture taken with him in dress clothes other than, Mets clothes. Those t-shirts and jeans, because we're black tie type clothes today. It's kind of weird.
You want me to downstairs? Okay. The highlight of my life, I went up to a bar and I ordered a glass of wine for Mike Piazza and served it to him. And, it was a pleasure to do it.
What about tonight? Tonight was a really great night. It was a night to honor Italian American sports heroes, and our favorite Italian American sports hero, after all of the Italian American sports hero stuff was done, came and sat down with his friends. And it's an amazing thing that we can be considered in that group that's friends, and we can chat about stuff and normal stuff like we would chat about if we were all sitting down at a table, and it's mind-boggling. And every time it happens, and this is more than once, and I'm still amazed. And
it was amazing. It was like he knew you for his entire life. You were a friend, and he was very casual, very comfortable. as if it was an everyday thing. It was amazing. He's so down to earth.
We were talking about music. We were talking about, family, everything. He wasn't a guy who was gonna be inducted to the Hall of Fame tomorrow. He wasn't a multimillionaire. He wasn't, a baseball player who's gonna go to the Baseball Hall of Fame one day. He was just one of us. He was a guy who was just having fun, laughing, drinking a beer. It was great.
You have like your stalker fans that, just abuse the privilege, and then you have the girls that he stops for. Literally, they don't call him, now he goes to them. So I think that's a very special relationship.
I'm still amazed when he does stuff like that, when he comes to talk to us after everybody else that he's had to deal with, all the dignitaries and the important people, and very important people, and still at the end of the night, and he's done this more than once, come and sat down with this group of friends and fans that are like been there and will be there, and it's amazing, and I still have to pinch myself because it's not real.
What we tend to do is talk about how identified a fan is with a particular team. Fan identification or team identification, that's simply how much of a connection, a psychological connection, does the fan feel with the team. So, for example, is the team felt as an extension of who they are? Is it a central part of their social identity? So, for example, for highly identified fans, if you were to ask them, list 20 traits of who you are, one of the first traits would be, I am a Mets fan. I mean, it's central to who they are. They can't imagine sort of describing themselves without that trait. So at the highly identified level, these are people who literally live and die for the team. They bleed the colors of the team. It's really who they are. Then you have more moderately identified fans, individuals who they just have sort of a peripheral relationship with the team. If the team's doing well, they'll follow the team. If the team's not doing so well, they tend to not follow the team. These are the fans that are accounting for the fluctuations in attendance. When the team does really well, they start showing up. When the team doesn't do well, they tend not to show up. The highly identified fans, they don't care how well the team's doing. They're always going to go anyway. Then we have the lowly identified fans. These are ones that have only a very minimal connection. So, for example, you might say, who's your favorite baseball team? They'd say, well, I don't really follow anybody, but I guess if you make me say I follow the Mets. Oh yeah, how many games have you been to? None. Can you name the players? No. So they have a very peripheral connection, but they really aren't interested or invested in the team in any way. What you find is that the most intense, and I would argue interesting reactions then, are from the highly identified fans, because again, it's for these individuals that the team is really an important component of who they are.
My father was a Mets fan. First game I ever went to was a Met game, and it's hereditary, by no choice. My mother probably doesn't even comprehend just how psychotic a fan I am. I mean, if she saw how much time I spent, if anyone saw how much time I spent online reading about the Mets and posting about the Mets, they would probably be borderline concerned. There's, I guess, an expectation level at this point amongst my other friends who are also very big Met fans, but I mean, I'm expected to be the biggest fan, and everyone asks me, well, what's going on with this trade, or what's going on with so-and-so? How come this guy's throwing this way? What do we know about this? So, I mean, I take it upon myself to try to find out everything I can do and try to rally the troops and get everyone going to games and some other odd things with Mr. Met.
We're at the Rockville Center, St. Patrick's Day Parade. We got Mr. Met marching with us. We got some huge Met fans, about 12 of us marching with Mr. Met. This is my cousin Brian, my cousin Steven, Mikey Gallagher, Kevin Gallagher, Pat Darcy, Don Meyerhofer, TJ Durnan, Bones. Tom Gallagher. Joey Parinelli. Some of the biggest Met fans on the face of the earth. Oh yeah, who else is a big Met fan? Mr. Met. He's also a pretty big Met fan. To the point that his head grew into a baseball. I actually have Mr. Met's cell phone number in my phone. I talked to him this morning. I have problems.
Psycho Met fan marching with us. Honorary member. We actually gave him a hat before because he had the Mets jacket on. And Gerard just spotted him out and brought him on. Look at him. The happiest kid in the world.
Let's go Mets! Let's go Mets! Let's go Mets! Let's go Mets!
We're hoping there's a bunch of Met fans up here by the church. I think there's going to be.
Let's go Mets! Let's go Mets!
Stop in the church after to say a prayer for a winning season. God is most definitely a Met fan. You got that right.
We had a ton of support, which I was shocked how much support we got. Dude. The whole town is a Met town. We got a million chants going. Everyone's listening. Everyone's psyched. So I've lost my voice in just 1 hour from screaming at the top of my lungs. All in all, I'd say it was a huge success.
I am a lifelong Mets fan. That's what I am. I'm a bar owner. I'm a record company owner, Crane Pool Records. The rules are if you're a Yankee fan, you're not really welcome here. I mean, you can come in here, but don't expect the game to be on TV. Don't expect me to give you the score, and don't expect me to, you know, talk about the Yankees. If you want to watch the Mets game, you're more than welcome. This is our sanctuary up here in upstate New York.
Who's your favorite baseball team? That's a good one. Who's your favorite baseball team, honey?
Not the Mets.
I still love her anyway.
I'm the unmet.
So,
fan.
Yankee.
So
yeah.
just start.
So, yeah, we're at 170. All right, hold on, bud. Okay. We're at 177 Adams Street in Delmar, New York, which is here. It's the home of Crane Pool Records. And it's our Memorial Day party, our 7th annual? 7th annual barbecue Memorial Day party and tractor pull, but we couldn't fit the tractor back there, so instead we have a couple of bouncy bounces. This is my son Seaver. He's 2. Can you say hi? It's pretty good. And this is Sophie. Sophie's 5½. They're both Mets fans. And this is my wife Mary.
Hi.
Hi. She's not a Mets fan, but I still love her anyway.
I have a sympathetic spot in my heart. I did name my child Seaver after all.
You know, I almost had her too. It was just Daryl. No, it was Mookie, and Gil was the big one. Choo Choo, I just threw out for shits and giggles. So this is my good friend Jeff Berger. Hey. And this is his son Willie, named after Willie Mays, right?
Yeah.
And they're
That's
both.
why you didn't name your kid Willie.
I couldn't. You can't have 2 Willie Mays on the same. Huge Met fans. Willie, you're a member of the Mets fan club, aren't you?
Yeah.
Kids Club? Yeah, I've known Jeff for probably 5-6 years.
5-6 years?
He moved back from Seattle, but he's from Buffalo. They're both Met fans. That's why they're welcome here anytime.
Howard and I are in agreement that we'd rather be Republicans than Yankee fans.
Yep. That's saying
and that's
something.
That's saying something.
That's
Yeah.
bad, but
That's saying
you know,
something.
it's the devil or the deep blue sea.
That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to know, as a Yankee fan, whether or not Mets fans have to hate the Yankees? Is that a requirement?
I think Yankee fans are kind of embarrassing in some ways, you know, like they're a little too over the top. They're a little too much in their hatred of the Mets.
What do you think about the Mets, though?
They suck.
Hey, ask me what I think about the Yankees. do I think about the Yankees? They suck.
Well, what about this season, though? You don't think they're doing good?
This season, no, the Mets are doing good. It's good for baseball. New York's the best city just for baseball. Everything. The fans know what's going on. They know, if you have a bad game, they'll boo you. They'll let you know what's going, how you're playing and everything. You don't need to read the papers, they'll tell you. And, yeah, it'd be nice to see a Subway Series again. And the result will probably be pretty much the same as 2000.
I highly doubt it.
You're right. Maybe it'll be a sweep this time.
Maybe you should start Randy Johnson. That'd be good.
Howard, for a long time, pretended that the TV in his bar was broken so that we couldn't watch the Yankees game while we were there. He would only play Mets games. But this year, and don't tell Howard this, I've watched the Yankees in his bar. I don't know if he knows. It's usually when he's not there.
It's a lot of fun. We used to actually have businesses right next door to each other. We had Valentine's, I had Brunella's restaurant, so we had a lot of people at the time when the Subway Series first started. We'd have them, we'd have signs up, if you were a Yankee, hey, get a free drink at Valentine's. And so they used to walk in all the time with Yankee heads, they go, get the hell out of here.
It was the year 2000, and I was getting, 2001, and I was getting married. And Howard, unbeknownst to me, had made a deal with the DJs who were at my wedding. So there was music planned for now introducing Mr. and Mrs. Raymond Grab. So the big moment came. Now introducing Mr. and Mrs. Raymond Grab. Meet the Mets. The 1963 version comes blasting out of the speakers. I'm loving it. My in-laws were less than pleased.
Why am I a New York Met? Well, I've got my necklace. I've got my tooth. See my tooth?
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's my tooth. I mean, family comes first, obviously, but the Mets are a close second. I'm a Met.
So I'm in Orlando, Florida. It is Game 3 of the World Baseball Classic, and Italy won last night on the 10-run mercy rule in the 7th inning. So we got one win. We need a second win to make it to the next round. Been here for 5 days.
You've taken off from work?
Taken off from work over a week, and never been to spring training, never been to Port St. Lucie, but felt like I wanted to be here to support Mike because he's just a phenomenal guy, and a lot of people weren't lucky enough to know him, I think, the way I did, and he's become a friend who I'm more than happy to support no matter what he does or where he goes.
The other day, Marlene was already down here. I called her at the time she was talking to Mike, and she said, hold on. I'm like, what? Hold on for what? I'm at work, I don't have this. She handed the phone to him, and we had a 5-minute conversation about, hey, dude, what are you doing? What's up? And I'm like, oh, my God, it's Mike Piazza.
It's going to be hard to root against the Mets, but since I do consider Mike now my friend, who do you root for, your friend or your team?
There's a lot of people that just want Mike Piazza for an autograph to turn around and sell it, and they're not like that at all. I met them online waiting for tickets, and they're the coolest people I've ever hung out with. So I enjoy going to games and meeting them because, he's a really classy gentleman, and he acknowledges the people he can tell is real fans, and they are real fans.
I guess, a couple years ago, he kind of picked me out of the crowd, and he would stop and talk to me as he was leaving the stadium, and willingly, not forced. And always had a nice, kind word, and always, thanks for your support. Always saying thank you to me for being the fan. And you don't hear enough of that from a ball player. You're spending your hard-earned money on going to games and watching ball players, and you don't hear thank you from them enough. So hearing that from him did make me feel a little different from the average fan. And then when he invited me to Chicago to see him get inducted into the Italian American Sports Hall of Fame, I kind of realized then that, our relationship took an extra level because he wouldn't have invited me if he thought I was a stalker. He wouldn't have invited me if he didn't think of me as someone who would appreciate what he was doing that day. He would have never invited me. I've been to every home opener and every home last game of the season for 17 years. This year I am breaking that tradition because I am afraid to fly. So there's only limited places where I can get to see Mike. So I'm going to drive myself out to St. Louis for my birthday, which is the day of the Mets' last home game. And I'm going to see Mike on my birthday in St. Louis, and hopefully he'll hit 2 home runs like he did last year in Washington, D.C.
So you like spending your birthday with Mike?
I love spending my birthday, his birthday, any birthday. So.
If you were to ask clinical psychologists if being a fan is like an addiction, they would tell you no, because they tend to want to use definitions of addiction that involve some type of physical dependency, some type of chemical dependency. Being someone who's not a clinical psychologist, as a sports psychologist, I would say that yes, certainly there are some fans that would show addictive type behaviors. Anytime you have a situation where you do things with respect to some activity that are counterproductive, that are maladaptive, to where you're losing friends, to where you're struggling at work, you're not going to work, not getting your work done, that your home life is a problem, that your interpersonal relationships are suffering, then you are, I don't know if you want to be classified as addictive or not, but the behaviors are addictive. And so, regardless of which term you want to use, you do have individuals out there that are consuming sport at such a level that it is maladaptive and that they are consuming it too much. As a matter of fact, I've read of some individuals who would consume in excess of 100 hours a week on TV, on internet, in person with their friends. That doesn't leave a whole lot of time for, well, sleep, work, spouse, children. At that level, they probably would be viewed as being some type of addicted to sport itself.
I thought what would be more fun than one of the first road trips of the season. We can't go to a game for the next week and a half. Let's all get together, watch a game together, and have Mr. Met show up.
Yeah, Rick is he's kind of the ringleader. Daily updates, squashing rumors that he knows are, false. Always giving us the updates. Always the guy with the tickets too for the Mets. But Rick and us, a bunch of big Met fans.
Yeah, it's weird. He's definitely got problems. But I'm telling you, the guy's passionate about this team. I mean, we all follow the season, and we root for these guys. We've been watching the Mets since we were little kids, and we got a kick out of it. But the dude definitely kicks it up to another level and gets everybody pumped up. So as long as they're serving drinks and everybody's goofing off and having a good time, we're willing to come along and get the spirit of it and have some fun.
I don't want my friends to ever become the guys who just show up at playoff games or don't know who's pitching on a given night. One of my friends asked me who's pitching tonight. I ream them out. So go figure that out yourself.
Nothing surprises me with Rick. I mean, we put together, we're making a trip up to Boston to see him when they play at Fenway. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a trip down to Florida. Everything he puts together, I'm always on board because I know it's going to be awesome.
It's almost perhaps too important to me because I will blow off just about anything, whether it's a good, a date or, wearing this jacket and on a Saturday night in Manhattan. I mean, this doesn't go over well with the opposite sex sometimes. I couldn't care less. It's Mets first.
Please stop. You don't know. Let's get a Marlene group picture.
It's August 8th, 2006. Sad day, but a happy day. It's Mike Piazza's first day back at Shea in a Padres uniform. And of course, we're all here to support him as best we can. We've already decided he can hit a home run, but we have to win. The Mets have to win.
We're going to wait for him to drive in so we can show our support, and he still knows that everybody cares about him.
He knows who his real fans are, and he sees who has supported him over the years. So he definitely welcomes it.
Some people were here as early as 10 o'clock this morning. It's now about 2:30, 2:45, and we're waiting for friends, i.e. Mike Piazza, to show up, and hopefully he'll wave and say hi, and that'll be a wonderful thing. Hopefully I'll get what I want in all instances.
We were sitting here since 1 o'clock waiting for Mike to come in, and he had told us, you know, over the winter that he's going to be driving his own car in when he comes in. But he took a town car, and we all missed him. But he didn't miss us. He did roll down the window and waved, and that was as best we could get. But
Nobody knows him, I know, but if I wasn't doing this, I could have been looking too and helping.
But we'll just catch up with him inside, and everything will be just fine. And tomorrow we'll know better to look for.
I didn't see him. Money, no chocolate. I don't care. Mike's in. He's gone. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
There's no chocolate. What do you want?
Nothing.
He saw us. I mean, he did.
I said. He spotted. He ran him down. He stopped him.
I mean, if he came in and I missed him, I missed him. I mean, he's not going to stop anyway. He's got to go inside. So I'm all right with it. You know, other people might be upset, but I'm not upset. I'll see him inside. I'm going to the game. It's not like I just came here and I'm not going to the game. I'm going to the game. I'll see him inside. My seat's right next to the Padre dugout. I'll have the sign. He'll see it. That's not a problem. I'm not upset.
Do me a favor. I don't care. I just don't care at this point. The Mets won 3-2. Piazza was what? 1 for 3, 1 for 4, 1 for 4. Okay. And we still love Paul LaDuca. And we're waiting to see which one of our Italian catchers is going to stop tonight. I'm hoping we get away from both. I don't really know. But we got plenty of signs. Prepared to wait until the sun comes up. And it won't be the first time I spent the night at Shea Stadium. For sure.
Surely won't be the last.
And it surely won't be the last. Oh, well, there's been a few nights when I didn't have any money to go back to Jersey over the bridge. So I'd park my little pumpkin over there in the corner and lay the seat back. And then there was some times back in February when it was a little chilly out here waiting for tickets. And I refused to go home because Matt won't let me go home. He won't let me. You have to stay. You have to, you know, so I'll spend the night if I have to. It's okay. I don't mind. Not at all. I bought these tickets in February, so, you know, I'll wait. It's all good.
Tell Eddie we said good to see you tonight. Okay. All right, so come on. Love you, Mike. All right.
Yeah, tell Eddie we said
Congratulations, Mike.
Congratulations
with everything, Mike.
We warned you. We warned you.
It was.
All right, baby. Have a good night. Give our love to Alicia.
That was fantastic. You know why? He's the best there is. He was in a town car, not driving, and made the driver pull over to say, "Hey guys, that was cool." You don't see
why
that.
we do this kind of show.
And it pays off in spades. Every single time he stops for us, he is coming.
It's very common for sports fans to use sport as an escape, and it's actually a quite healthy escape. There are a lot of things out there that you don't want to use as an escape. This is one that, you know, you can get away with. It doesn't cause chemical dependency. What we found in the research, ironically, is that it's not just that they escape from overstimulation, and it's not just that they escape from understimulation. There are actually sports fans out there who escape for both reasons. So, for example, you can imagine somebody whose job is the chief of police for a large city, And all that individual wants to do is to come home at the end of the day, turn on SportsCenter and wind down. Wants no more stress, no more anxiety, no more arousal, just wants to shut down. So for that person, sport is an escape from overstimulation, from the fact that their life is just too much. Right next door, you could have someone whose job is relatively boring. Perhaps they work in a repetitive job on an assembly line, for example. And all they want at the end of the day is to come home, turn on SportsCenter, and get wound up, to get energized, to get, some type of vigor back into their life so that they can sense life to its fullest. So for each individual, sports serves as an escape. For one individual, it's an escape from the fact that their life is too much. For the other individual, it's an escape from the fact that their life is not enough. It's too boring. So you do see sport as an escape, particularly in times where society is struggling, times of war, for example. There have been presidents that have made the decision to continue playing major sports because they felt that it was going to serve as a diversion. Hurricane Katrina, the same thing occurred in Hurricane Katrina. Decisions were made to continue playing sports, to give the victims something to follow, to give them an escape from thinking about the struggles in their life.
We're at a secret location here, always secret from the Metmobile, believe it or not, the Bronx. So we quietly have to uncover the Metmobile and escape the Bronx. As you can hear, it's always some kind of noise or mayhem in the Bronx, especially the Yankees won last night, so we want to get out of here quick. All right, battery connected. Let's rock and roll. Now I'm on the way to the playoffs. It's approximately probably about 6 now. Actually running late for a 4 o'clock game. Need to get my coffee. Need to get over to Queens, which we're still not yet there, so feel a lot more relieved once I'm in Queens. I'm a little concerned. I guess any Met fan would be concerned right at the moment. But you got to remember, it's called the baseball team. It's the team that got them there. Don't know how much longer I'm doing this, folks, but for all the Met fans, to enjoy the car and the memories, I guess that's why I'm doing it now. Yeah, I lost the last game of the season, and I felt bad. I was going to all these games, and I was watching them lose, and wasn't feeling well about it. But I said, well, let me give them a little push and remind them that there's someone out there that's really, really, really big fan of them and supporting them through thick and thin. So even though they lost that last game of the season, I waited for them after the game. I pulled out first. Got onto the Grand Central very slowly, and the buses just started following behind me. And my hairs just stood up all over my body. The adrenaline just flowed, and just to see the buses alongside of me, knowing that they were there, and I was beeping my horn straight through and waving my finger, number one, number one, number one, number one, we're gonna do it, number one, we're gonna do it. I could hear them talking on that bus. I tell my friends. I could hear one guy saying, that guy's nuts, he's crazy, he's got no life. Then I could hear Tom Glavine saying, that's not true. I know him. His name is Eddie. He's a nice guy. I've met him a few times. Matter of fact, he's a gentleman's gentleman. He's a concierge in a high-rise. I think you're wrong. My parking lot of dreams. Parking lot of dreams.
Last week I came and we won. I came back this week. We're going to win again. That's it. We beat the Dodgers last week. I'm coming back to beat St. Louis. Die-hard Met fan. Win or lose, we stick with them. And right now they're winning, and I'm coming up to support them. I supported them all year. I can't give up now.
Here I am back in New York. Once again, it's October 10th, and the playoff is tonight, and I have tickets for tonight and tomorrow's game, and I'm so excited. It's Glavin's turn to shine again. Hopefully he will, and we'll beat St. Louis, and I don't care whether it's 4 games, 5, 6, 7, as long as we win. I cannot sit still. I'm like a nut job. I'm running around. I do exercises just to try to get the stress out of my body, and I just have to be here, just to be part of the action, part of the whole Mets scene.
It's 12:30 in the afternoon. I took a half a personal day today to come to see my Mets. Got my tickets weeks ago, and I'm first online, which is really always a thrill. Hoping and praying and hoping again and praying a little more to make sure that we win this game. With all of our difficulties, it's going to be tough, but you know what? I'm a Mets fan, bleeding in that orange and blue, and I know we can do it.
My sons and I came from eastern Pennsylvania here. It took us about 3 hours to get here, but we got here, just got in the parking lot, and we're a little nervous right now.
We came from Rockland County. He goes to Pearl River High School in Pearl River, and I had to take him out like 12:45 to get here by 1:30, and we made good time. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, I wouldn't be anywhere else. I saved all my personal days so I could take half days every single day of all the games so that I can come to the games, and my boss knows where I am, so I don't have to worry about being on television or somebody see me in the stands or something, because this is what I live for.
I don't plan on taking this hat off until they lose. And I'm not taking a shower. I'm not doing anything. I'm very superstitious. I will not do anything to disrupt. When they lose, then everything goes back. Then I change things around. In the meantime, same underwear, same hat, same shirt. I go to work this way. People are just going to have to live with me. My wife has already moved into the next bedroom. She knows the deal.
Souvenir program and scorecard. I'm getting a little nervous. Game time is approaching, and but I'm excited. It's excited nervousness.
And I was up in the upper deck, so it was like before, during the game, I felt like I was on top of the world with the flag and everything. I had the flag folded like this. So every time something was happening, I stood up on the chair and I had the flag go out. It's awesome. Flag, I rolled. The crowd just roared. It kept roaring up there. It was unbelievable.
The cap will not come off until the Mets lose, should they lose, again, this year.
Typical, never easy, but we got it done. So it's a good thing. And I'm glad we're coming home happy, because it would have been a hell of a long ride if we lost this goddamn game tonight, I'll tell you that.
I am on cloud 9. I get to go home to Florida and Fort Lauderdale. I don't need the plane to get there. I could just fly there myself.
Good job, guys. Good job, guys. Good job.
We're on the Long Island Railroad, best way to travel to Shea. Game 2, National League Championship Series. Mets up 1-0. John Maine against Chris Carpenter. Cardinals desperately need this game. I'm sure they think they have it in the bag. Mets are taking this one. And we got a monster crew of animals here. Pounding beers on the train. We've been drinking for a couple hours, getting ready, and it's going to be a madhouse tonight. Life has been difficult. Glorious since the Mets in the playoffs, but just when you start getting a little nervous, last night, 5th inning, 0-0. Jeff Weaver's looking great. He's throwing like a one-hitter. The minute you start to get that sense in your head, like, oh no, maybe the Cardinals could win this game. And they have Carpenter. We could be down 0-2. This Met team always comes back and says, you know, pat you on the head, don't worry. And they always strike first. Every time a team gives them their best punch, they punch back harder. And they always reassure you, just like they did last night.
Let's go, Mets! Let's go, Mets! Let's go, Mets! Let's go, Mets!
7-3 Mets. Carpenter chased in the fourth. Bloodied for 5 runs. You heard it here first.
Bottom line is, I don't mind getting beat. I do not mind getting beat. We were supposed to lose this game, Carpenter versus Maine. We won this game. It was in hand. And I love Willie. And he is our guy, and I still think he's the guy who's going to take us to the World Series. But can I curse? He fucked up tonight so bad. God, if we'd won this game tonight, it was over. Now who knows? I still think we will probably win, but we're going to be in shambles by the time we get to the World Series. It's the essence of the Met fan. Tomorrow.
I hope so.
I've been a miserable bastard the last 24 hours. Miserable. You don't even want to. Miserable. We're in Albany, New York. It's Saturday the 14th. We're watching Game 3. Not good. Not good.
I never smoke. When I watch the Mets, I smoke. I chase smoke. And when I go to the track. But no, really, the Mets. Oh God.
And tonight,
especially tonight, yeah, it's you know, they're down. They're playing very, very poorly, and it seems like they have a hangover from last night's game. But when I think about it rationally, I really still think we have the better team. And I think we will beat the Cardinals. I'm not really that worried yet.
Right now, it's 5-0. 5-0.
what inning?
It's going to be the top of the 9th right now, I believe. It's looking ugly. It's looking ugly.
I want to go home. I do. I want to go home. I want to go home so bad. But, you know what? It's only a game in the grand scheme of things. It really is. I mean, my kids are healthy. I love my wife. And we are in the playoffs. And there is Sunday in St. Louis. So, we'll get them tomorrow. We don't have a choice.
This is supposed to be an uplifting set tonight. But I don't see that happening. We're going to do a couple songs and then we're just going to go smoke a lot of pot, okay? Okay. Well, the drugs don't seem to be working. And I'm too far gone, I'm not far enough. Can't say for sure. There's something here in the night tonight. It's not very long. Well, the drugs don't seem to be working anymore.
Here we are in this bar
and Mets are playing on many of the television screens, and there's probably not another person in this bar that's watching the game but me. Friday's loss was, it was sad. But throughout the game, I was with it. Last night and Saturday's loss, losing 5-0, it was a sickening feeling. It was really hard. Today was Sunday. The prayers were there. Prayers were there. We're going to win Sunday. God says this is ours. Kevin roots for the Philadelphia Phillies. And it's sad. And I keep trying to convert him. But I can't do it. So, but I'm teaching him about the Mets. And my goal is to turn him into a New York Mets fan. Oh! Oh! Yes! Yes!
I am feeling ecstatic.
She's feeling no pain.
I am feeling ecstatic. We're gonna do it.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was. I was nervous going in because. Why are you laughing?
It was inspiring to watch a team kind of keep their resolve and pull it all together. I have to say, I'm not a Mets fan.
Let's go Mets!
But are you rooting
for them now?
Well,
yes!
Because the senior minister is rooting for them, I sort of have to kind of root for them because when the senior minister's happy, then everybody's happy. But, you know,
Yeah.
it would have been a lot more enjoyable if the Phillies were in this position. So
But
maybe I should-
now,
But for this year and for this time, hey, let's go Mets.
let's go Mets!
Let's go Mets.
This was a Phillies game.
The only person in the parking lot, only person in the bar. No one cares about the Mets here. This is Philadelphia.
Well, we're here watching Game 5. Hopefully the Mets will pull it out. They're down right now, but they've been known to pull out in 6th and 7th innings, even the 8th inning. They've been known to pull out games, so I have confidence. It's an iffy, but I have confidence they'll pull it out. I'll support my team no matter what. I mean, we'll be 30 games out. We could be 30 games out next year. I won't quit on my team no matter what. I don't care. I'll still stick to my team.
Rip! 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 Yeah! Second and third! Come on, Shorty, your turn!
I've been very nervous. Very nervous. Every day, I mean, look at my nails. I have no nails. Biting every cuticle and everything. I'm like nothing. I have nothing left. By every game, on the edge of my seat. I just now they hit another home run, so we're down 2 runs. So I'm gonna take all my hats. I'm gonna make the old-fashioned rally caps, but I'm gonna do a triple rally cap because I have all 3 of them with my mask and all. I'm gonna take everything and put it backwards. Put everything backwards. Everything complete. All the way down. And even take my Mets hat, my trademark Mets hat, and put it in backwards. And I've never had to do this before because I've never done this before. I'm gonna put everything inside out and hope for the best. We got a pinch hitter coming up, then we got Reyes and Laduca, and then maybe Beltran gets on. Hits a home run, at least ties it, make it 4-4. Hopefully. Well, they lost. They swung at bad pitches. I believe that the umpires made a couple bad calls, but you know you can't argue whatever. But they lost, and now they have to win 2 in a row. They have to win 6 and 7 just to see the series. And I mean, they did it in a World Series. They were down at home, backs against the walls. They did it then. Hopefully, they can do it again. Baseball is my life. Sports is my life, but. Life goes on regardless, so it's like every Met fan knows there's always next year, but it's not over yet. It's not over yet.
We're at Game 6
It's D-Day. If we don't win, it's over, and I don't think I can stand it. I can't handle it.
It's a culmination of my whole life right now. From a kid, right over here. I should ride the subway every day to work, to get a job, to make enough money so I can come here and celebrate this with everybody else right now.
This is my third time from Florida. I've been up and back and forth 6 times in the last 3 weeks, and I'm coming back next week.
We win this, we go on to Game 7 and then on to the World Series, and we repeat just like 86 20 years ago. I'm excited. I don't have a ticket for tomorrow, but I'm not worried. I figure I'm going to jump into my friend Jim's bed. I'm small enough to fit in there. Let him carry me in, no problem. We'll just sneak right in. I'll sit on the steps somewhere.
I'm ridiculously nervous. We just lost in St. Louis. I can't believe we lost. And I'm very excited about tonight's game, and I'm also very nervous because I've only ever been to 2 playoff games before.
I'm so nervous that I had a friend that had taught me to get my head out of the oven today, because I am absolutely sick with fear that maybe this can't happen.
I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous at all. You nervous? Don't be nervous. There's nothing to be nervous about.
The hitting's gonna come out today. We were off yesterday. Our back is against the wall today. But you wanna know what? They're gonna come out and they're gonna make us proud to be fans. They're gonna make us proud.
I'm not nervous anymore. I was this morning, but right now I'm just I'm at peace right now. Whatever happens, I know that it's gonna happen. It's gotta happen.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident. Absolutely. The bats come alive tonight. They better come alive tonight. They'll come alive tonight.
I'm going to keep score. I have my trusty scorecard. Without that, I would go absolutely insane, but it gives me a little, fetish object to hold on to so that I don't go insane. I got to go inside now, though. It's all starting. Started out very badly. We had the bases loaded in the first inning and only 1 out, and Maine got out of it, and Maine threw 5 innings, more than 5 innings, only 2 hits and no runs, and after the first inning all I thought was, man, we got out of this jam. Wouldn't it be great if Reyes hit a leadoff home run? And I couldn't say it because it would totally jinx it, and then the first thing that happens, 3rd pitch of the game, Reyes hits the ball over the right field fence, 395 feet, and we're ahead 1-0, and then we can all relax a little bit, and we all go, Jose, Jose, Jose. And I lost my voice, and it was a little bit like being at a World Cup soccer match. It was fucking amazing. It was like the most ridiculous thing I've ever thought.
Motherfucker! Game 6 victory! Right there! Right there! Game 7 going home! Going home! World Series champs right here, New York Mets, huh?
I'm quite sure we won.
You couldn't ask for a better performance from John Maine. The whole team came together. The fans were behind us, behind the team. The planets were in alignment. It was ours. The tide turned right in front of us. And tomorrow, just wrap it up and go on to Detroit.
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling like I knew I was going to feel. I knew this was going to happen. Did I say it was going to happen? We all said it was going to. We knew it. We knew it. And tomorrow night we're going to knock soup on around. It'll be fun. For fun. Tomorrow's for fun.
I knew it. I felt it. I am so glad there is a Game 7 coming tomorrow. We are unstoppable. That's it. We are going to Detroit. We are going to take out the Tigers.
Being a Mets fan, as the years go by, we win, but we're very hard to get to the top of the mountain. So I'm always waiting for something to knock us down, but maybe not this year. And I certainly hope not this year.
Here we are, 7th game of the playoffs against the Cards. I know the energy is here. We're going to win this game and go on to the World Series. I'm all psyched up. The fans are going to be psyched up. The players will be psyched up. And we're going to go all the way.
I'm living out of a suitcase. I'm staying at a friend's house. It's great. Sometimes I don't know when I'm going home. Last week I had to change my flight because of the rain out. I was going home Saturday instead of Friday. But I know one thing for sure. I am booking my flight and I'm coming back next week, Tuesday, and staying till the end of that. Guaranteed.
It's
I'm
amazing.
scared.
It's amazing. It's better than in 2000, I'd say. I was here for that final game. It's amazing.
I've been in a game 7, my first game 7, so I'm going to have stroke. So check on me later and see if I'm still breathing.
Check our vitals.
If we win the World Series, the anarchy is going to break out in this town. I'm talking about cats and dogs living together, you know, cars getting flipped over. It's going to be for a wild night. I mean, I'll have the bail money, as always, on standby.
This is the ultimate for an ultimate fan like me. It's the Met Man mask. Instead of Batman, call him Met Man. They calling me everything out there. They call me Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Batman. Very few are getting it right. It's Batman, Batman. Let's do it.
I can't talk. I don't know what happened. Why can't we hit? I don't understand. It just wasn't our time, I'm guessing, and we'll just have to try next year. But to lose like that, where we put up a hell of a fight, sucks. But we'll all be back next year, I guess. We'll all be here again, doing the whole thing all over again.
Back to where we started. From the genesis back to we start again next year's another year. We just didn't hit. Oliver Perez pitched a hell of a game. Just we didn't bat. You know, we ain't got nobody to blame but ourselves. The fans were there. We were the 10th men. We did our part. We were there. But we just didn't hit.
I'm devastated right now. I'm hurt. Who knows? I need counseling. I'll need some kind of therapy during the off season. And right now, I don't even want to know about it. I don't want to know about the Mets. I don't want to know what they're doing. It's like right now, it's like let's go back to a normal life. And it's like right now, I don't even know how to deal with tomorrow right now. It's like I don't know. It's like I was there, man. I saw myself in Detroit already, and like I said, I don't want to hear it right now. It's like right now I gotta cope. It's that serious right now.
And I'm going to stay here, right here at Shea Stadium, until all of the cars are gone, and see who I can just say goodbye to and thank, just like they've helped us and thanked us all year. Or, I don't know. I got to see Woody, got to see Cliff, the guys that stopped all the time for us, and just show our appreciation or dry their tears.
Sad, like any other normal Met fan. I'm real good. It's not the end of the world. Pretty sad, though. Probably better off. Can't keep going through this madness of every day doing this, that, and the other, running here, running there, trying to get a ticket. It's exhausting. 2 weeks of just sleeping like 3 hours or 4 hours a night, it's not really healthy either, so I guess I'll take the car back to Yonkers now. I gotta park in the driveway and pick up my car, and then I'll feel I feel like I get something off my chest because I'll get away from this, and I don't have to hear anybody's mouth, you know, or horns honking. And the ironic thing is my horn broke down literally today, my horn. It's been working for 6 years. And when it went down right after I got off right before over 59th Street Bridge, I had this eerie feeling when my horn went down that something may happen, that the Mets may lose. I was like, oh, that's all superstitious. And then when I came here and I met up with you guys, you know, before the game, I was like really confident that the Mets would pull this one out. And when that home run was hit, I lost all confidence, and even though the fans were still roaring, something inside my gut was saying it ain't gonna happen. You know, so, no parade, folks, this year. I got a family, you know. These guys think I got no life, but I do have a life, you know. I have a full-time job, plus a part-time, you know, painting company. I got 2 beautiful kids. I got a wife. I got a home. You know, so, you know, I gotta deal with life, you know. And reality, this is all fantasy, and, you know. This is like the ultimate, this was the ultimate win, the ultimate experience, and the ultimate loss, you might say.
We know from research that sports fans, when they identify strongly with a local team, have a very positive social psychological makeup. Well, the first question you might ask is, how is that possible? I've seen fans react to their team when their team loses, particularly in a championship season. If you watch teams, the fans of teams that lose Game 7 of a playoff series, those fans do not look like psychologically healthy individuals. They look very depressed, they look anxious, they look sad. You know, the quietest place in the world is the hometown stadium when the home team has just lost Game 7 of a series. I mean, no one says a word. They file out very solemn, like they're leaving some type of funeral or something. So how can these people come back? How can they do it again? And certainly, how can I say that they are psychologically healthy? Well, what happens is sports fans have developed amazing strategies for coping. We figured out ways to cope with our team's losses. So the Mets fans that lose Game 7, afterwards, are they depressed? Are they sad? Absolutely. They go home, they don't talk in the car, they shower, they go to bed, they wake up, they go to work the next day. They are very unproductive at work the next day because they're just sitting there in their state of depression. After a few days, maybe a week, maybe a few weeks, maybe a month if they were really involved. It does take a while for this to go away. These coping strategies build in to where they think, hey, you know what? Last year was such a great season. We're bringing everybody back for next year. Next year will even be a better season. Or they begin to think, hey, you know, it wasn't our fault that we lost. Look at the Cardinals. They were clearly a team of destiny. Look what they did in the World Series. We were clearly the better team, you know, in terms of talent, but they were just a team of destiny. It's not our fault. They have these coping strategies that allow them to make sense of the outcome when the outcome doesn't go their way, so that they can then feel good about their future and get right back in saying to themselves, I can't wait for 2007.
A baseball team is a lot of fun to watch and a lot of fun to follow. But if your team doesn't win pennants, there's a certain frustration that goes along with it.
I've been a Met fan since '62. So we're going on, what, 43 years now, whatever it is, 43, 44, whatever. You know, I've had this emotional investment in this team for 44 years. How could I ever walk away from that? And that's never going to change. It's in my blood. It's always going to be there. You know, when we're bad, I'm going to suffer. But it just makes it all the better when they do win.
Like the Brooklyn Dodgers with the Mets, it was always wait till next year, wait till the next decade. But you know, we're optimistic about the future.
I'm a Met fan, and I'm a realist. And the reality is, it might not happen. That's fine. I just hope that the guys stay healthy and give it their best shot. And then if I lose with a healthy team, then you beat me. You beat me.
gotta believe.
You gotta believe. Thank you, Tug. You gotta believe.
I really am, as always, looking forward to next year. And mathematically, if we're not out of it, I'm not giving up.
Things aren't that bad, you know. There's always next season. We're always mathematically alive.
The idea that if your back's against the wall, you can always fight back. That you're never down and out, and there's always a chance. I think that's probably, I probably learned that from them.
I don't know what it is about the Mets. It's just something that, ask anybody, why are they a Raiders fan? Why are they a Red Sox fan or a Cubs fan? I believe you're born with that gene, the Mets gene. You like suffering, you like ajna, you get off on it, I guess. And I mean, I see the world in blue and orange colors.
My dad and I probably wouldn't be as close as we are if it weren't for the Mets. We have things in common, but nothing like this. Like, this is something that really bonds us, and it's something that we can talk about together, and really share an interest.
These are people for whom the Mets and their memories of the Mets and the individual players, their favorite players, are part of their childhood, maybe their courting stories, their friendships, their parents, their relationships with their parents, their grandparents, their divorce and death. And that's what differentiates these people, the diehards, who have this lifelong commitment to their team from a casual fan.
There's, I think, as much optimism during the off-season leading into the season as there is pessimism when you walk into the stadium and think, what's going to happen tonight?
I can't exactly explain what it means to me, but it would be great if they could win another World Series. I mean, they have a good team, they have the potential. When's the last time we've experienced that thrill? And really, we might have a chance in the next couple years. Just gotta keep going.
Did you ever drink a Schaefer warm or walk out in a thunderstorm? Go fishing in the middle of the wake. Take you out, but you gotta bait your own hook. Bring the cool, you read a book. Float downstream, just you and me. Time, do I have to explain it one more time? Let's waste the day together, just you and me. Yeah, let's waste the day together, just you and me. Yeah, let's waste the day together, just you and me. Down before, kept ahead of the rain, all right by morning night, outrun the night it's brewed, this southern sky. Been let down once or twice, it ain't fair, but that's the price, or so they say. Pulling into Fayetteville, 5 a.m. feeling killed, my eyes are shot, dead to the world. No man's your brother but your brother, you can never count on no other, I can count on you. move along. Don't be confused, you unpushed or led astray. Don't play both sides against the middle to make your case. It's clearly evident that you were nowhere bound, and I've been let down, and I've been let down, I've been let down. Crossed my mind across the line, double nickels on the dime static. There's time to think. Well, I've resigned to the fact that you're never coming back. I wouldn't have it any other way. Been let down, but that's okay. I've been let down, but that's okay. I've been let down, but that's okay. I've been let down.